What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Fortnite episode. Um, I didn't really want to break up the Primal weapons as much as I am going to, but they're releasing them not like all at once. They're kind of releasing 'em sort of slowly. So, which is why this video is going to be another Primal weapon video since they just released the Primal SMG yesterday. Today's Thursday. Yeah. So for me, it's every Wednesday around like 5. That the shop gets updated, the missions reset, and all that stuff. So yesterday at 5, I seen this, picked it up, and this is what I believe to be the best. I'm not too sure about that last perk, not the core perk, and I need to make the distinction as well right here. So the core perk is this last perk at the end. You can change it with the core perk changing. What's it called? What the hell? What do I remember that? They're just called core perk, core reperks. There you go. So you can change that core perk with the core perk, core reperk. Sorry, I said it weird. Uh, but yeah, you can change it with that. You can change the last one with it. The 30 damage to targets above 80 is not something that I really like. And I figured going with the elimination in 4 seconds is probably not necessarily the easier of the two, but it's maybe a more, in my opinion, a more consistent perk. How do you say? It would be more consistent than the eliminating a miss monster because you're not always fighting a miss monster, and you're not always gonna be able to kill it depending on what it is, right? Because with, as far as I know, with all these weapons, you're gonna have a rough time taking down miss monsters with them. So it's not necessarily worth, in my opinion, to have it as this miss monster one. And instead, it's easier just to keep the 5 eliminations in 4 seconds. And with the SMG, you come to figure out that it's pretty dookie. I'm gonna load into a mission in a second and show you. But I'm gonna go to the setup I have for it. All right, let's go to command. This is not it. This one is it. Another thing that, well, as you seen, it had crit damage, crit rating, and you could see its stats. I don't think I showed them. Let's go to it real quick then. I don't think I showed the stats on it. Oh, they're there on the side, dummy. Okay, I'm talking to myself. Uh, but the hit damage is what we want. I did try headshot damage because for this SMG, you'll see later again that it is really bad. It's got a really wide spread, which is really messed up. If it had a tighter spread, let's say when ADSing, then I think that would make it better. But it's got a wide spread regardless of whether you're ADSing or not. So, in my opinion, that's like crappy. But I'm going with making it count, make it count, making it count, make it count for pistol and SMG crit. For in this case, it's SMG. Totally rocking out for the buff and crit rating and damage. Right, damage 50. Sub offers just in case I need a. In some cases, it's good. In some cases, it's not. In some cases, you'll farm metal and you'll get it, and it won't be something that like you worry about too much. But farming some metal during or before you start uh, an objective in a mission is like you know is probably what you should do, since the food is kind of dumb and it kind of just clogs up your last spot. The next one is assault damage. For the increased SMG damage, a little bit more SMG damage. Then I have 6-shooter for pistol. Oh, this is pistol damage. Okay. Um. So I guess this doesn't apply. This does apply to the other setup for the pistol, the burst pistol. And what I was gonna say before is I didn't mention you could interchange, let's say, these characters like Beetlejuice and this character. Quick draw. You can interchange them, so you could have quick draw as your main or your commander, and then you could have Beetlejuice in your support, and you'll still get, I believe it's 75. All right, we're in. So I'm gonna equip the weapon. And another thing I was gonna mention, I want to let you know as well. So I keep pulling up wrong stuff. So first assault, the character that has that ability, you could use her as your commander as well, and have, I keep pushing the wrong buttons again, and have Beetlejuice and make it count in your support as well, along with assault damage. And that might be a better for overall. I think they're inside each other. Overall, like hit chance possibility. You won't be doing the max hit damage, let's say, as with this one. It has the highest hit damage, crit hit damage. But you could change it like that as well. So it's got like 3 variations of builds. I'm probably gonna try them as well since I mentioned it. Might as well say it. Mention it. But as you can tell already, it's like super widespread. Let's shoot at the wall actually, so I can get a good idea of how. You see that spread is so, and it doesn't get better with ADS. The ADS, it has that first shot accuracy, but after that, the spread is still like pretty wide. Kill that first. And as you're aware, again, I'm in the high level zone. I'm in the high level zone, yes, because I want to see how it holds up to level 250 enemies. Also, I'm in this area strictly because I know these enemies are tougher or more resistant to this element type. So you look at that. They're a lot more resistant to nature weapons, like a lot. And the reason for that is I want to make sure that this gun, at least from a player point of view, can do a decent amount of damage to every type of enemy, every element type of enemy. Because if it can do a decent amount to every type of enemy, then it is a gun worth getting. If not, then it probably isn't. Right? You want a gun to do a good amount of damage to every enemy, especially because you don't know what type of enemy you'll encounter, right? Some zones don't list what type of enemy you're gonna fight, and they'll give you a random or mixed enemy type. So then, what do? Well, you want to be able to pull out any type of weapon you have. Let's say in your inventory, like me. I don't have a bunch of weapons in my inventory, but the ones I have are the ones I use a lot, especially the Xenon Bow. I use it a lot. The double barrel I don't use it a lot. It's mostly a fun gun. I did get it to 144. That's just because I know that it can do high damage. It can do high crit damage, and that's exactly what I have it for. Discharge as well. I use it a lot. It's a really good weapon. So it's worth having in your inventory. Another thing I did notice about these weapons is they're actually fairly good against mist monsters, which is probably for the best. But At the same time, uh, I'm choosing this core perk over the other core perk, which is just a single miss monster elimination to get the ability. And some would rather trade off that. Some would rather have that instead of the one I have now, because it's harder to get 4 eliminations from just using it how I am right now. I'm gonna die actually, but even though it is 12 seconds and it will last you a bit of time, you notice how the first enemy I killed was the mist monster, and how it's not as, I'm not gonna say it's not as easy, but how it's I killed the harder enemy first, strictly because I know it'll do way more damage than these guys can do. Except for that guy, actually. Worst in damage sense. Oh, my animal's down, and I'm down too. But oh, I'm crafting ammo as well. It's stuck on me crafting ammo. Okay. I'm just crafting ammo indefinitely, because you can't stop it. Okay, but you notice how I killed the Taker first. It did good damage against the Taker, but it would have took me way longer than 12 seconds to kill the remaining enemies. And so I had chosen to have 4 eliminations to activate the perk, because realistically there's going to be more of, you know, the husky husks, or the, you know, the little husks that jump around, the husklings, or the standard husk. There's going to be a lot more of those than there are going to be of, you know, any other enemy. I know in some cases it's different. Like some endurances will have just a ton of like mist monsters. But if you're doing an endurance, you know, it's more than likely uh, you're not gonna try to use solely, you know, this weapon or any other type of weapon for that matter. Since an endurance is, you're probably gonna use more your traps than anything else, and not too much your other weapons. So it's gonna be, I basically picked this way because you're fighting the majority, and it already does decent damage to the enemy. So it's not like you're gonna try and go solely for those enemies first. Or actually, you probably will. If you're me, you probably will. You'll go for the mist monsters first, and the other guys you'll just, you know, you'll just train up and eliminate as you see. But this gun, or as I was doing rather. Now, I know it appears it's doing 600k, but that's only the first 2 shots, I would say, since I reloaded. Look, 1, 2, 3. Now it's doing 123. So you can understand, when I reload, I have the first 2 shots, and I believe if you have her as your main, and it's not going to do that amount of damage either. Even if it's a crit hit, it won't do that much. As far as I know, from the looks of it, it's gonna do maybe 2 to 300,000. So regardless of what the DPS number states, the DPS is like obviously damage per second, so it's gonna take into the account your fire rate, right? because obviously that's what it's reliant on, is your fire rate. But in reality, what you want to look at is your damage, your base damage, specifically for this one, since it's going to be a little harder to hit headshot damage, but you can hit it. You're going to look at the damage and the crit hit damage. Those two are like the more important of the two. The more important of the three or four are actually the first four, right? Fire rate, you can worry about fire rate, but in my case, what I'm trying to explain, it's the hit damage and the damage, right? It appears to me that it may only hit around 300k, which is both not a lot and a lot. And I say not a lot um, because 250 enemies have a lot more than that. And with these enemies specifically, you're not going to be doing that because they have a higher resistance to it. If I just call out this guy, I'm doing like 6,000, 5,000, that was like 25, 35. It's not doing a whole lot, especially not when I can't really hit it. My shots that well. 3,700. See, it's not. And then distance does have a role to play in it. See, obviously I can hit him for tens of thousands if it's close. Hit that one for it's like 17, 19,000, 15, 13, 17, 26, 16. As he's further away, it's gonna have a drop off. That was like 15,000, but he's got a healer on him. So it did fairly well when I could hit consistent, good shots. And this guy, look, this guy. And I'm doing that, looked like just under 100,000. That looked like 100,000. Or 17,000 actually. Yeah, 17. 17, 70. 23. Floating numbers are cool. I wish they stood around longer so I could see how well I'm doing, but it looks like I'm hitting under 30 for these guys. But at the same time, there's a damage number, and then there's just defense. They have defense against this since it's their opposite element, right? For these guys, you want water, obviously. But as I explained, if it's a gun you want, it won't be good against those guys. Now, it will do an okay damage to its own element, so if you're fighting a nature enemy, then it'd probably be okay. If you were fighting a water enemy, it'd be really good. If you were fighting a basic enemy, it would be good. But it, in my opinion, it's not good. They're not good. They're not. I like them because they're new. They're cool. They're new. Cool, new. 3. I wish there was like a training dummy you could shoot at and then just have the numbers float up. But unfortunately, 44,000. I'm hitting headshots as well. Let's hit a headshot. As soon as I reload, it's gonna be more damage. Reload again. 44. That's 4,000. And these are headshots. I'm not hitting crits super often. See, 25,000, 23,000, 17,000, 4,000, 17. At the same time, you're not gonna shoot your soul reserve. You're gonna spam it, which means you can hit more crits more often, more than likely, since you're just spraying it. But it's not my favorite gun. Instead of I kind of do want to show you guys how the builds, how different you could make them and how they might do. Since as far as I can tell right now, there's three you could use. This one is included in that three, so there's two other ones you could use. I keep going there for some reason. You could use you could main assault damage and have Beetle Jess in your support, or you could have first shot assault as your main, and then have Beetle Jess in your support. So those are the two variations. The other two variations that I see, how well they'll do, is what's it's what the question is. So I'm actually gonna leave, and then I'll check the stats, and I'll kind of judge by the stats how well they'll do against enemies. Since I don't want to make this video super long, so yeah, I'm gonna leave, and then I'll see you in a sec. Okay, we're back. So the variations I was thinking of, right? Take first assault off. Not for is it first assault? I mean, might have misread that, but um, this is SMG as well. You could have him, but you already have make it count. So if you don't have tactical assault sledgehammer, then Beetle Jess is someone who has it's basically the same. Well, minus I think it's pistol and SMG for Beetle Jess, and this one is assault and SMG. So it can vary. Or you could have quick draws pistol specific. So you can have this person 6 shots. It's not a burst, so the first 6 shots you spray out have a 100% chance. Okay, so I was saying, um, they're both still 100% chance a shot, but it's just more shots have that 100% chance. So you could use first shot Rio. It is at a sacrifice of your critical hit damage, which isn't super crazy, but at the same time, 260 for 38 at 13. You're still probably gonna hit the same amount. I don't know why I decided to check. So I was gonna look at the llamas for a second, but I was gonna mention that both weapons are in the event shop. They do come purple, so you have to, you gotta use stuff for them. But back to the other. My ADD's kicking up, guys. It freaking start jumping around the topics. But another one you could do is you could take this character off, and you could put her here. Now she gives still SMG damage. If I could find her, here she is. Oh, assault and SMG damage. And what I didn't even recall is there's a character right here for SMG damage. Right, this is a pistol SMG crit damage. And there's a character for damage again. Right, hip shot. But you would have to sacrifice waste not want if you still want I said want twice. If you still want the first couple of shots to have 100% crit chance, you could have her. And another thing I was gonna say as well is I know these characters both, and it doesn't stack with hip shot or assault damage. Sorry, hip shot and assault damage don't stack, so you can't really have them together. But they're interchangeable. Is what I was trying to say. I don't know why I was like you can put that guy there, but they're interchangeable, right? You could have either of them on there. It doesn't stack with make it count, so you can't just throw that guy on there. But it does work out like that as well, and the damage increases. Right, we're not really gonna pay attention to DPS. We're gonna go over to this one. 16. It went up like 3,000 maybe. which means you might hit like 50, 60K if you get lucky, right? The impacts are pretty high, especially on the shotgun. All these are relatively high impacts. See, impact on this weapon is only like 500. This one's got a lot, obviously. This one's got a ton. This one's got a ton. These two weapons both, or not this one. Specifically the discharger. It like tosses around smashers. It's really funny. Uh, this one staggers them. These both can stagger them pretty well. This one could stagger them as well. 600, but it's an SMG, so you could spray, which means you could have like a 12,000 impact because it just let rip on on enemies. Where was that? Oh yeah. But yeah, you could interchange these characters. Uh, this one will give you higher hit. So the other one, the original one I had with make count, is gonna give you a more consistent high damage crit hit, but that's relative to the damage you can do, right? So if you have more damage, then you'll appear to do more crit damage. You know what I mean? If the weapon can do more damage, like it has a damage perk, then you'll technically hit higher crit hits. So with this one, you'll have a 50% damage increase, and then it'll do more crit hit damage. But at the same time, it's not more crit hit damage than the first one I had, right? Since the first one will be the max amount of hit damage you can get, but it's relative to the damage you could do. So if you have perks like, say, Totally Rock Now, Battle Beat, that'll increase your damage and increase your crit rating, then you can do a higher overall damage as well. Crit damage, especially, since that's the goal, really. Um, I didn't have a first assault on the first one, I don't think. Maybe because I wasn't paying attention when I was setting it up initially. If I did, then I did, but I don't remember if I did or didn't, honestly. But this is one of the setups. You could interchange this character to be the commander. You could change this one to be the commander and have other ones in the. I would probably keep Beetle Jess as the main and have the other two. I won't do that now. Actually, I'd probably have Beetle Jess as the main and have the other two. And have the other two, in my support with waste not want for the extra magazine size. And the only thing you need to change if you're gonna do a pistol one is this character to hip shot, and then you're fine. But that's really basically the same setup. Or you could have hip shot as your main, or if you have an SMG or assault, you can have that one as your main. But it doesn't change too much. This is basically it. As the new weapons come out, since they are gonna come out like every Wednesday, I hope from now on they're gonna start dropping weapons. Now they're purple more than likely because they want people to get them, and gold is usually a little more expensive than purple characters or purple items. So be on the lookout for those. I'm gonna cut to Fortnite DB because they have what weapon type the prime stuff will come out in. And as far as I know, I think there's like 5. But we'll see. We're gonna move to Fortnite DB right now. I'll be back. All right. So for Fortnite DB, let's what do we do with the quests? Well, Fortnite DB, it shows you. It's not in quests. I don't have all the banners either. Sorry. Everything else is pretty golden. Perks own. Honestly forget. Oh, it is perks own. Okay, so Perks own. We got a silk up class. Here it is. So there's gonna be a prime rifle. Obviously, it's got the same three type of core perks. There's gonna be where's the okay. So this is the rifles. This is the shotguns. We already know there's a prime shotgun. I have the prime shotgun. You guys seen it? Seen me play with it? Prime shotgun. Primal shotgun. I keep saying prime. Sorry. The primal shotgun. It's also gonna be the nightlight, the night fire. It's a medieval weapon. I don't think this was released yet. It's one of those weapons that is probably like they have it listed and they have the perks on it, but it's not like in there yet. So that's one of the weapons to expect. There's also not the third rail. So there's not a sniper. I don't think a primal shot, a primal sniper, unless you consider the one I mentioned, like a new edition as well. I mean, it is a new edition, but I was gonna say primal weapon. It doesn't look. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a primal sniper. We already know there is a primal SMG. Primal SMG right here. I don't think as of yet there's another new SMG edition. Okay, now a launcher. As for primal launcher, there isn't a primal launcher or any new launchers that I know are going to be added. But let's go down again. Let's go pistols. We already know there's a pistol. Let's see. Pistol, pistol, pistol. It should be at the bottom. Yep. Primal pistol. Now, blunt weapon. No blunt weapons. Not a lot of blunt weapons anyway. Hammer style weapons. There's a lot of hammer style weapons, but again, I don't think there's a primal sort of weapon of that type. There isn't a one of axe either. Yeah, there's not a scythe one. A sword one. I don't think there's any new additions to that either. Scrapper spear was a pack, so you don't gotta worry about that. And that is it for the weapons coming out. Now the Nightfire, I'm pretty sure hasn't been released yet. I don't recall if it has. It may be something coming up that they plan to release soon, which is why we see it. We see it now. It was in the SMG category, and it's a dual wield. You can get it with a voucher, apparently. Let's go over to the collection book and see if this weapon is in the medieval weapon category. So I'll cut to that. I'll be back. Okay, we're back into the world. Let's go over to collection book, event schematics, medieval. Yeah, it's not. So it's not here yet. Or maybe was this it? Interesting. Okay, so that was it. I apologize for if I brought any new hype to new weapons. But what I did realize about this weapon, you know what? I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna pull it out of the collection book. Onslaught, beta onslaught. What I did realize about this weapon, I'm not sure if it's good or not, right? But modified perks, you go to the last perk, and there's a bullet splinter, kind of like the vacuum tube bow, or like the ability that Stoneheart Farah has, and it is a 1.5 second cooldown. But in terms of bow, If you have, and it's double crit damage, double crit rating, that's kind of crazy, honestly. Um, I'll play with this gun, and maybe it'll be in another video. But for now, I think that is gonna have to be it for this video, guys. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have questions about any of the guns I did previously, like the SMG, the shotgun, the pistol, then let me know in the comments. But if you want to see more of any of the content I got, be sure to subscribe so you can check out when it drops. I know not all of it is super entertaining, but it's a bit of experience, and it'd be cool if you guys come along for it. So, so there's two. I'm gonna be out then, guys. See you next time.